And
Okay,
we're live.
like all good things, they must come to an end and get rebooted as number ones. If you are a big comic book fan, I think Marvel likes to do it a lot more than DC, but they like to take some good stories and mostly bad stories and reboot them as number one, so people buy into them and think that they're getting something different. It's kind of what we did here. We rebranded. Um, used to be the C3 podcast, C3PO. I think our originally was getting way too fucking hard to say, so we decided to go something more simpler. Where Superman hangs out in the Fortress of Solitude, right, Chris? That's where he hangs out with.
I heard.
That's where he like touches himself, so nobody can find him.
That's what I do.
I mean, what? It's called the Fortress of Solitude. I don't know what else you'd be doing there besides watching porn. Like, come on. But we tried to.
How fast do you think he jerks off? Like the Flash, like.
Faster than a speeding bullet. But we decided to call the podcast the Fortress of Comic News, just because it's more appropriate. We'll still talk about movies and other pop culture stuff, but I don't know, the Fortress of Comic News just sounds more badass than trying to pronounce our last name. And I mean, I like talking about Star Wars stuff, but it's a lot more fun to talk about comic book stuff, I think. There's a lot more of it right now. We haven't had a show in a while, but Chris and I embarked on an interesting adventure last weekend because we live on the East Coast. Do you want to talk about where we went, Chris?
Yeah, explains why I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Went to the Penny.
Schedule is all fucked up right now because of last weekend. He partied a little too hard.
I can't even tell you. Like, I'm getting like 4 hours of sleep since I got back. We went to the Penny Arcade Expo.
Penny Arcade Expo, or also known as PAX East, which I've been to New York Comic Con twice. I've been to Hartford Comic Con. PAX East was like, it was phenomenally bigger. I was like, holy shit, I was not prepared for that at all. I don't know what it is about Comic Con, if they split it up into sections between artists and all the other stuff, but it was just nuts. We had like some good times there though. Waiting in line. If you go to cons and you want to do fun stuff, just expect to wait in lines for at least 3 to 5 hours on a weekend, at least.
I think New York, from my experience in New York, is bigger. They've got a bigger area. They've got bigger theaters, bigger everything. So it seems less crowded, but there's really more people there. And I remember the year I went, you couldn't move in certain parts of New York.
Yeah, it's nuts, but it's awesome because you get all these people together in one room celebrating the same things. But if the couple things that I took away from PAX East was apparently I need to get a Nintendo 3DS.
Yes, you do.
Because even people walking around the show were just playing 3DSs. Like, dude, we got you out of your house. We brought video games out into the public, so you'll finally go out in the public, and you're just gonna play your 3DS. But I will say it is very useful to wait in line for 5 hours to have a 3DS.
Yeah.
Another thing, it pays to be a girl at PAX East because apparently the girls don't have lines for their bathrooms. And apparently it's because there's no girls at PAX East. That could contribute to it as well. But we attended some interesting panels at PAX East. Obviously, we got to, if anyone knows about PAX and PAX East, we got to watch Acquisitions Incorporated live D&D, which was phenomenal.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really great. And they announced that they're doing a show on Penny Arcade. They're going to do a weekly live show where they play D&D, which is going to be awesome. One interesting panel that I got to attend that Chris did not go to, my friend Steve brought me because I'm not a huge World of Warcraft fan. Well, this is going to segue us nicely. Like I just took some KY Jelly Lube on that on that segue right there. Just watch how smoothly this transitions. We're talking about PAX East. Now we're going to go straight into movies. I'm not a huge fan of World of Warcraft. My friend Steve has played for like 8 years or something like that. Apparently, the original. I don't know much about World of Warcraft, but the original was like based on orcs versus humans. I know I'm going to butcher the story, but I don't think the original had much of a story, just Warcraft. So we decided to attend the Warcraft movie panel, which up until this point, I had seen the trailers for Warcraft, and I was like, it looks like, that generic good versus evil battle sequence that it didn't look like it had much of a story, which, I mean, it's fine for me because I'm not into Warcraft. I was going to, wait till it comes out on DVD and probably watch it. I wasn't going to go to the theater. So we sat in this panel hosted by some annoying girl I've never heard of, who she knew a lot about Warcraft, but she was extremely annoying. The director of Warcraft was there, Duncan Jones. He directed it.
Was she a redhead?
I think she had purple hair, actually.
Oh, never mind.
But Duncan Jones was awesome. I think he's an English fellow. He directed Source Code, and he hasn't really done anything large besides Source Code, to where he would go into Warcraft. And between him and the actor that joined him, Robert Kaczynski, he was the Australian guy in Pacific Rim. He's been in a bunch of movies, but they're both, between the two of those guys, they're huge Warcraft nerds. And I think a lot of people were going there to reassure themselves because, I mean, everybody there was a fan of Warcraft. And they're all just hoping that they take this movie and they do it justice to the fan base that they have, because let's face it, all the video game movies that come out were absolute shit. They kept bringing up Super Mario Brothers.
Except for Super Mario Brothers. That movie's a masterpiece.
I'd like to think you're joking with that, because as a movie by itself, it was fine, but like related to video games at all, like, come on.
That movie, in all seriousness, is one of those movies that's so bad that I like it.
Kind of like Evil Dead. That's
the
Evil Dead movies are my so bad they're good. But anyways, they kept bringing that up. These guys, if I was a fan of the game, I would be really happy that these guys are in charge of this movie. Well, Rob Kaczynski plays Ogrim, who's I think he's a shaman orc or something like that. I honestly have no idea. I know he's an orc. But up until this point, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know much about Warcraft. So they just sat there and talked about Warcraft and all these species, and like everyone was really impressed that they knew their stuff. And they kept getting people all pumped about, hey, if this movie does well, then we can get all these other movies with all these further characters and get to like the Lich King and all the other expansions that are out right now. But they have to start somewhere. And he told the story, the director told the story of how like they had an original script. It was just basically orcs versus humans, and it was garbage. So he rewrote the script to see as like, when you look at the humans, you look at the orcs, you can see both sides of them, and kind of you can side with either of them. They're not both, not one specifically is a hero, not one specifically an enemy. And it sounded really interesting. But it was funny because I was sitting there with my friends, and the end of the panel was coming. I mean, it was coming to an end, and everybody gets up and they start leaping, and I'm like, "You guys are idiots!" Like, I'm not even a fan of this movie, but I know we're in a movie panel at a con, and they're getting up and leaving, and they haven't shown any type of footage yet. I mean, come on, like they got to show footage. Well, like half of the people are standing up and leaving, and they go, "Well, where is everybody going? We have some exclusive footage." And I was like, "Oh yes." So they play this trailer, right? And I don't know anything about Warcraft, but it gave me goose pimples. That's all I'm going to say. It was not like the original trailer that they showed that was like generic, like, oh, for orcs, oh, for man. That they were showing one of the guys, the mage, they showed him like casting, and like the effects on him casting magic just looked awesome. Another big part of the trailer, I don't know this, but they showed dwarves and like the Iron Keep, they call it, where they forge weapons and stuff, and everybody started flipping out because they haven't shown that at all. They're like, "Holy shit, dwarves!" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." It's like Gimli. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Long story short, I'll probably go see the movie at the theaters now, just because of that last trailer I got to see and how pumped up everybody got for it.
Very cool.
Yeah, I know you don't really have an opinion on it either, but
I have zero faith in that movie.
there you go. That's
I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah,
See it, but I have zero faith in it.
I mean, you got to go to these movies with really, really low expectations, and then you never come out depressed at all.
Yeah, I've never been to a good comic book movie in my life, and I don't know if, or not comic book movie. I'm fucking.
I was like, holy shit, dude!
And I'd expect to never go to one.
Chris has never been to a good comic book movie in his life. We hear they're raking in billions of dollars.
That's just how bad Deadpool was. It was so bad it made everything else worse.
Jesus, we're not getting on how bad Deadpool was. How bad do you think it was? I saw another Civil War TV spot. Civil War is what, less than 2 weeks away? No, I think it's a week, right? Pretty sure.
Today's Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow, I'll be going.
Holy shit. I saw a TV spot with more Spider-Man. They keep releasing TV spots. More Spider-Man, more Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, don't show them too much. It's gonna end up like you're gonna show the whole movie. And the clip I did see though was like Winter Soldier goes to punch Spider-Man, he catches his fist, and he's like, oh, you have a metal hand, that's pretty sweet. But then I'm like, how is Spider-Man catching a punch thrown by Winter Soldier? You know what I mean?
Well, Winter Soldier isn't really super strong or anything.
But I mean, that metal arm is pretty badass. I don't know.
Yeah, but Spider-Man's very strong.
It's a vibranium. It's a vibranium arm, right?
Oh, I don't remember how the movie universe explained it.
Well, there's that, but oh yeah, I think I remember one of the movies. Spider-Man like catches a car, doesn't he, or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he is pretty strong.
He's strong.
But the initial reviews for that is awesome. All the critics are like 80, almost 90% on that. So
yeah, I haven't read a bad review yet.
Which some would say is the complete opposite of Batman versus Superman, but Batman vs. Superman, the Blu-ray that's coming out has been announced that it's going to be 181 minutes, so just over 3 hours of Batman vs. Superman.
No.
Which
they need to cut that movie down, not extend it.
Yeah, I wanted more, so give me more. I don't care. If it's more Ben Affleck in the bat suit, hell yeah. I'll pre-order that for sure.
All seriousness though, I think that everyone's talking about how these two movies are coming out and how it's the year of, superheroes fighting, but I think that this has a chance to be way better because Marvel's earned it.
Yeah.
Marvel's been building this universe forever, and now they can actually use the differences between these two heroes and build a better story based on past knowledge and not worry about having to introduce an entire universe. It's not to completely slam on Batman v Superman because it wasn't a terrible movie. It just wasn't a good movie. But I just think that this has a chance to do so much more with that idea.
I think it helps to have like each person has like at least 2 to 3 movies. I mean, we had, and then plus the Avengers movies, like these guys have been buddies for like 6 movies. And now they're finally like gonna start fighting each other. I mean, yeah, there's a little more weight to it, I think. It actually means something. Whereas you give me a Superman that is kind of devoid of emotion, versus a guy in a bat suit who's kind of just mad all the time. Who neither of them really have any friends to begin with.
I won't go too much into it because you can go back to the old episodes, but I said back then that I wish that DC just came out the way Marvel did and started off with, they started off with the Superman movie, but then they introduced Batman, then they introduced Aquaman, and then like 4 or 5 movies down the line, we get to Justice League, and then we get to Batman v Superman, and instead of just throwing straight into Batman v Superman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we won't get into that.
I think that's it for movies, really. I don't think we talked about the Jason Bourne trailer. Did you see that?
No.
I don't care how many Jason Bourne movies they put out. I will pay money to see them. I mean, let me rephrase that. Any Jason Bourne movies with Matt Damon, as long as they don't. I don't want any Hawkeye Jason Bourne movies. I want Jason Bourne movies with Matt Damon being a badass. And this one's got Tommy Lee Jones in it. It's just like, and every trailer of that movie is just always someone like Jason Bourne. Every trailer, like it's just like there he is. It's him. Like he's back.
Jason Bourne is unlike James Bond is Matt Damon. So there isn't Jason Bourne without Matt Damon, in my opinion. So I'm down to see him back.
Yeah, he could play. I mean, Jason Bourne just comes back from Mars, and like now he's just really pissed off, and he's gonna punch people in the face. There was that thing going around the internet for a while, like, oh, Jason Bourne versus Batman, who would win? But it's like Batman always wins. Like, come on, really? But still, I mean, Jason Bourne is pretty badass. That's coming out. I'm really excited for that.
How excited are you for Killing Joke?
Oh yeah, Killing Joke. Yeah, that trailer dropped today. Just to hear Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman again, and you can tell. I mean, you can tell us Mark Hamill is a Joker. I'm so excited.
I really hope. Well, that can't be true because they're going to be in the new cartoon. But I kind of wish that they both retired after this, because this is the movie that they've both been asking for forever.
Can you imagine if they both retired right here and like, you know, the one story where, I mean, it's been argued over time, but I think Grant Morrison said it once, where like Joker dies in the end, like he stops laughing, and that's like the final. That is the kill. It's in the title. It's the Killing Joke. Like he kills him.
It wasn't supposed to be canon originally. It was supposed to be an Elseworld story.
Yeah.
So I believe he died too, but then because it became canon, they obviously changed that ending.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it is. I mean, we were at PAX East in line, and someone had bought the Killing Joke. I don't know where he bought the Killing Joke at PAX East, but he was reading it for like the first time. I'm like, I wish I could be that kid reading it for the first time and being like, what the? Why is Commissioner Gordon in like a bondage suit? What's going on? Like if you're like a parent buying that for your kid, you're like, here you go, Sonny. This is your Batman Brave and the Bold that you love so much. Like, no, this will scar you.
But this would be such a great mic drop moment for those two.
Oh yeah. Easily.
As much as I would never want them to stop being those two characters, I just think it'd be such a great moment for them that I kind of wish they would retire after this.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean,
retire from those characters, not retire.
Unless they end up doing like another Batman Beyond, and the only way I'd want Kevin Conroy to do Batman again is if they did like an older version of Bruce as like a secondary character.
But they'll both be back for that cartoon on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, is the Justice League one, right?
Yeah, Justice League Action.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll watch it. I think it's exciting to be around when a Justice League cartoon is coming out weekly again, that you're going to be watching every week, you know?
Yeah, I like that it's 15 minutes too, so it's just in and out.
Yeah, I mean, I still go back and watch Justice League United. Unlimited.
Oh, United.
Unlimited. Yeah. I'm sorry, Unlimited. I love that show, and it's awesome because like they just did. I think it was a couple weeks ago on Legends of Tomorrow. They did the Jonah Hex episode, which I think Jonah Hex was in Batman Brave and the Bold. I think he was in Justice League Unlimited too. But dude, that character was always awesome, and they finally go back in time and they meet Jonah Hex, and he's just a badass as usual. But, like, just to see him like on the screen, I was like, holy shit, we're looking at Jonah Hex right now. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. And then last week's Legends of Tomorrow, I don't think they really dropped any big names like that, but they're finally. It was cool. They were fighting. There was a really big Star Wars moment in last week's Legends of Tomorrow because they're fighting this assassin that's hired by the Time Masters to kill the Legends of Tomorrow. And spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Legends of Tomorrow. She goes back in time and starts trying to kill everyone who was part of the team as a kid. And then she can't kill him as a kid, so she goes back and starts trying to kill him as a baby. So they're like, it's kind of a fucked up episode because they're going back in time and like stealing their baby versions of each other. And it's like really messed up. But they're all in this room fighting with her at the end, and she can control time, like in a certain area around her. And so like everybody fires at her, like Firestorm shoots fire at her, and then Captain Cold and Heatwave both fire at her, and we have White Canaries going to like drop kick her or some shit like that, and she slows time all around her. So it's kind of like the Kylo Ren where he freezes the bolt, but she's like freezing everybody at once, and she's like keeps moving in a circle, like freezing them. So like all their bolts are like around her, and she's got them all stopped. It's pretty badass. But then you forget about the Atom, and he like flies out and kicks her ass. So.
Of course.
I love the Atom. I hope they keep him on Legends of Tomorrow indefinitely because he's one of my favorite characters. But yeah, Legends of Tomorrow was great. Flash this week was it was okay. They're doing an arc right now where Barry loses his speed, so he's just normal Barry Allen.
What else do you do?
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of. He lost his speed to Zoom, and we got to see a really cool interaction between Caitlin Snow from Earth 1 and Killer Frost from Earth 2. That was pretty cool.
I love that show, and I actually like The Flash, but my problem with The Flash is that character always gets stuck between two stories, and it's either he lost his speed, what's he gonna do? Or look at all these speedsters that popped up.
Yeah, I mean, besides the time traveling paradoxes, which is like the best part for me.
Yeah, that's when it's good, is when it gets into that and doesn't care how much it's fucking up the whole timeline.
Yeah, and like I think the next episode is called Rupture, so I'm thinking like he's gonna rupture time and like all shit's gonna break. It's gonna go to hell. And Kevin Smith's episode, I think is 2 episodes from now, is called. I saw the title. They released the title finally. It's called The Something Dinosaur. I was like, what? What is it? And the guy who wrote the episode is he wrote Thor and he wrote X-Men First Class. So I was like, this is gonna get interesting. But yeah, and then I heard that they're planning on doing more Supergirl crossovers, which is pretty awesome. Like they have an overlying arc for all these TV shows, I think, for them to cross over. And if it's something like Final Crisis, like holy shit, if they're gonna do that on TV, oh man, that would be awesome. Like I can't imagine why wouldn't DC do that, right? Like they did Gorilla Grodd and King Shark already. Like it's not you're not crossing the line if you're taking a step back if you do like Final Crisis or something like that. You've already crossed the line there. Especially when you do Rainbow Raider. I mean, come on.
Didn't have the balls to call him Rainbow Raider.
They didn't, but I mean, they might have lost some people early on there if they called him Rainbow Raider. They're like, "Oh fuck this, I'm out." Like,
if either the movies or the TV shows or whatever does Crazy Quilt and they don't call him Crazy Quilt, I'm going to DC main office and I'm going to talk to somebody.
Yeah. You're going to march up there and be like, hey, I need to talk to someone. They're going to be like, it's about Crazy Quilt.
This is bullshit. His name is Crazy Quilt?
They're going to be like, security, we got another one. Like, they just put you over in a pile of people complaining about Crazy Quilt.
Do you know excuse me, do you know who I am, DC?
I demand to be heard.
As I walk in with a Marvel shirt on.
Crazy Quilt, I feel like they could do him on Gotham. They could do like I think they could do like a fucked up version of him where he wraps dead bodies in quilts or something, or he kills people and like stitches a square out of his quilt. No, it all just sounds really dumb.
You need to follow the exact Crazy Quilt origin to the T.
Yeah.
And I want his original suit and everything.
You're asking a lot. I mean,
I'm asking for perfection in all of media.
Oh, another thing in Flash this week, they went to Ace Chemical. They went to an Ace Chemical in Central City, but still, they've referenced a lot of things on Flash, which ends up interacting with them. So I don't know if it's like hinting at we're going to see Gotham soon or something, but I mean, if you're talking about Ace Chemical and Central City, we might head to Gotham eventually.
I feel like the Berlanti brothers could like force their way into doing a Batman TV show.
Wait, there's two of them? There's two Berlantis?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I feel like they could force their way into that if they just like kept hinting at it, and then finally told Warner Brothers like, "Listen, we've teased Batman so much that you just have to give us a Batman show."
They're like, "Ah, shit, you got us. We gotta give you a Batman show." Like, why would
because the stories I've heard, that's what happened with the League of Assassins, is they just hinted at it so much that they finally just like, "Listen, we have to do it now."
Yeah, and they were done using it in the Batman universe. Which the Supergirl finale, spoilers, ends with there was an appearance of Superman's boots in the finale of Superman gets injured and they like the camera pans around the room. We get a shot of his red boots. So it's like we're getting there. We're getting little bits and pieces. I think at first they showed his cape, and now we're getting to see his boots. So maybe we'll get to see the S eventually. I don't know. I feel like they should just bring in what's his name from Smallville.
Oh, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, like what is he doing? He's not doing anything.
I don't know, but he just turned like 39.
See, he's just aging. Like, get him in there before he gets.
I just remember seeing a thing the other day of like, it's his birthday and he's 39 years old. Like, oh,
and where is he now? Being depressed because he's not Superman anymore.
From what I heard, he made so much money off Smallville that he just like quit acting. He's just like, all right, I'm good. See ya.
It's like
honestly,
what do you?
Good for him. Like, if that was me and I did that for 10 years, and he tried to do a few movies and he just, it never hit. But if I had enough money to just, live on my life and not have to worry about it, I so would.
I think that, like, you can't really top being Superman, but it's kind of messed up. Like, if I was him and they find out, like, the last episode, they put me in the Superman costume and then they end the series, I would have been pissed.
There is a way to top being Superman. By being Crazy Quilt.
Oh, I was going to say Batman, but come on, man. You got to let it go. You got to let it go.
There's three things I'll never let go. Crazy Quilt, The Spot, and MODOK in live action. I want all three of them.
I feel like anybody who actually listens to this podcast will know who Crazy Quilt is, but do you want to break it down for us? I feel like you want to talk about Crazy Quilt for a little bit.
Crazy Quilt. Here, I'm going to pull up the exact origin so that nobody can bitch at me about it. Because I know he's a blind guy that has a crazy quilt.
I gotta find a Crazy Quilt t-shirt. There has to be. I feel like they should do like some cheesy Injustice gang on one of these shows where it's like Crazy Quilt, Condiment King.
I honestly like don't know a ton about Crazy Quilt. I just know I've seen pictures like this.
Oh yeah,
and know that the character is just genius.
You don't even know anything about him. You just see his suit and you know he means business.
I mean, his first appearance is in Boy Commandos 15. I mean, that sounds amazing.
It's one of my favorite books of all time. I actually have no idea.
So here we go. We're going to break this down. Crazy Quilt is Paul Decker. He's an ex-painter who led a double life as a master thief. He was blinded by a gunshot wound during a botched robbery. While in prison, he volunteered for an experimental procedure that would restore his vision. But of course, there was a side effect. Even though he can see, he can only see in blinding, disorienting colors. This drove him insane, and adopted the identity Crazy Quilt.
That was a lot darker than that. Was like, that's almost darker than Batman's parents getting killed. I kind of like Crazy Quilt's origin more than Batman's. That's dark, man. Like a botched robbery. Like, we meant to kill you and you didn't die, you idiot.
All right. All of Crazy Quilt's abilities are derived from his helmet. Crazy Quilt's helmet allows him to hypnotize his victims using flashing lights of various color. It can also project lethal laser beams, blinding lights, and function as artificial eyes, since his own eyes no longer function. The lenses feed their input signal directly into his brain.
Okay.
Crazy Quilt possesses the strength level of a man his age, size, and weight, who engages in regular exercise. That's my favorite part right there. If that is a superpower, I got superpowers. That's all I'm saying.
I think we need to do a segment of the show where we pick a ridiculous character and we talk about him, because this is great.
Yeah, that's happening from now on, because I'm honestly, I've been fucking around joking about Crazy Quilt, but I love Crazy Quilt now after that.
Yeah, you sold me, man. I'd give him a 3-movie deal after that. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
Just get idea. You know who would be an awesome Crazy Quilt though? You just get Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is Crazy Quilt, because he's got that lighthearted side to him, but then he has that, that whole, it's basically Star-Lord, where he's got that dark past where shit happened to him. It's like, you're gonna die, Crazy Quilt. We're gonna shoot you in the head, man. Give us your cash. And he doesn't die, and now he's takes vengeance with a helmet that shoots laser beams. Like, come on.
I do not like origin movies,
Mm-hmm.
but if they did that as an origin movie that led into the next Batman movie, I would just you can see the smile already. I would be so happy.
They just say, someone must have thrown the idea. If Jeff Johns is writing over there for shows, Crazy Quilt is on a whiteboard somewhere. It might be the conference room at DC that nobody uses in the back of the building, but come on, it's got to be written somewhere.
You know that Jeff Johns has a whiteboard that says stupid characters that I can make better.
He's just throwing darts at.
Yeah. I already did Blue Beetle, and I forget the other Booster Gold.
Dude, I love Booster Gold. Jeff Johns' run of Blue and Gold was amazing. But it's so what do you do, Crazy Quilt? I exercise like any normal man or human my size.
That's just my favorite part.
Oh no, he has the powers of a 5-foot man. Watch out!
Wait, why is that under superhero abilities?
Watch out! He has the power of a 135-pound human being. That's great.
I know a whole bunch of superheroes now.
I'm glad they cleared that up, though, that it transmits to his brain, because I was going to be like, how does the blind guy see through his magic goggles? I wasn't going to question it. I don't think
the motherfucking Matrix, that's how.
The Matrix. I wasn't gonna question it. There's only so far you can go where I kind of feel bad for the guy now, though. A botched science experiment where he's just mad at the world. He just never got his chance. He was just a normal guy, and someone decided to mess his day up real bad.
Fucking Crazy Quilt, man.
That's awesome. But okay, to wrap up TV shows, Gotham had its finale, and something awesome happened. Spoilers, Mr. Freeze got his new suit, which is awesome. And Yeah, Meacham. Meacham took a bullet, and now he's they reanimated him as Mr. Freeze.
Can someone please edit that together? We're like, Mr. Freeze
Yeah.
once protected the president.
we need a sequence of like him on a stretcher getting rolled into Arkham Asylum, or I think that's where they are, and like getting changed into Mr. Freeze.
And the bullet and turned him into a frozen man.
He was one bullet away from being an ice cold killer. But it ends with they bring back I can't remember the guy's name. One of the main villains from like the beginning of the season. But he comes back as Azrael. He starts shouting Azrael, like because they reanimate him, but his brain's all fucked up, obviously, because they brought him back to life. And Hugo Strange is like, "Oh, we did it! We made it!" And he's like, he starts screaming like Azrael. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but this is awesome. This guy was dead. They brought him back, and now he's Azrael. Like, I'm not even gonna. Nope. It's like you can't question these things. You just gotta go along with it. The guys bring him back to life. He kills him, and then he starts screaming Azrael. And I was like, listen, I don't even care because next episode he's gonna be in a costume as Azrael. He's gonna be killing people. That's all I want to see. And I mean, we don't have Batman yet, but we have Azrael. Just fuck, man, just change Gotham to like, just call it Nightfall and just give it like make it a show about Azrael. That's all I want.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Right? Come on, DC, listen to us. Just take my ideas. They're free. I'll even write them on little postcards for you, and I'll send them. And so you guys can crumple them up and throw them in the garbage or wipe your ass with them or whatever.
For the record, DC, I want to get paid.
Chris wants to get paid. I might.
I want to retire young. All right.
I don't even need my name on there. Like I could be like Bill Finger, where like. You wait like 40 years and then you put my name on it, after I'm dead, after nobody knows me.
By the way, because we haven't done a show since this happened. So I told you I went to go see Batman v Superman for a second time.
Yes.
Right? Because my father wanted to go, so I went with him. And when I went during the title sequence, I noticed that Bill Finger's name was actually in there.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome. They started doing it.
Made me very happy.
I think they started doing the comic too. He's finally getting recognition, which he deserves it because everybody knows Bob Kane. Nobody knows Bill Finger, which is kind of sad.
That's it. That is, yeah. I remember that.
Walking Dead season finale. Do you want to talk about that? We haven't talked about that yet.
You just read my mind. I was going to see if you want to talk about it.
Are you mad about it? A lot of people are mad.
Okay, as a viewer, yes. As like a rational person, I know exactly what they did. They have the greatest hype train for next season in the world built right in because now we're all pissed and we're bitching about it and we're going to keep talking about it for 6 months.
That's just it. We're still talking about it now, and people are like, they should have killed him off. I'm like, why? So you could talk about it for a week and then wait till the season premiere. Do you know how many people are going to be watching the season premiere now because of what they did? Like, are you kidding me?
That season premiere is going to be the biggest episode of television in television history.
Are you calling it
now? I'm calling it right now. There's going to be more eyes on that episode than any show ever, with the exception of the basic cable.
I will tell you, I love Negan.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I actually went back and reread some of the first appearance Negan stuff.
Yeah,
and the dialogue really fits. They just they took out a lot of the cursing, which was something I was worried about because I was like, I don't know how you're gonna do it.
He was so I was terrified of him. I didn't need the cursing. But they stayed true to that dialogue for that entire scene, which is pretty awesome.
But they wrote him so well that they picked the moments where he did curse very strategically.
Yeah.
And I think it came across as very menacing when they did. Because when he did say something of that nature, it gave me chills.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody thought it was a cop out. I thought it was a cop out, but we're still talking about it. I think it was smart for them to do. And it's like when you think you're going to piss the Walking Dead fans off, but like, are they really going to stop watching it? They're not going to stop. Nobody's going to stop watching it.
You know what? Walking Dead, much like Game of Thrones, like they piss the fans off every week. Like
they still keep coming back.
All I hear is like, "Oh, I'm done with that fucking show," and then it breaks another record.
Yeah,
it's just like you're not done with that show. I know you're not done with that show. You're just pissed off because something didn't go the way you think it should, and everyone's gonna be real pissed off when season 7 hits and Daryl's dead.
Like he's got that new motorcycle show coming out.
I've been calling it since they started the season. Negan's gonna pop up. He's gonna kill Daryl. It's the only person that Negan can kill to get the reaction they want.
Yep.
Which is for us to hate him. Absolutely hate him.
That's I'll still love him though. If he does it, I'll be like, let's be friends.
Well, I love Negan in the comics too, but it's the same thing. They, spoiler alert for an old ass book, but they killed they killed Glenn in that issue 100, and it had resonance because Glenn was such an important character, had been there since the beginning, was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that made us really despise Negan as a character. Even though I enjoyed Negan as a character and I like him, he's one of my favorite characters.
Yep.
We still hate him. Like, that's one of the reasons I love him, is because I hate him so much.
I think, and that's great. The whole thing I could do without is the Carol being stupid and
the Carol thing. I don't understand.
I think they're heading to the kingdom with Ezekiel and stuff, which is exciting because we're gonna see a fucking tiger pretty soon.
That was one thing I was wondering forever. Like, okay, so at some point the kingdom has to pop up. Yeah. How are they going to do it? Because they need a budget to do the kingdom.
Yeah, they really do. And I think it's safe to say they have a pretty big budget. The season started off with the scene where they're moving they're moving 18-wheelers with like thousands of walkers. Like that was pretty heavy CGI, and I think it's safe to say with all the branding they have, they'll do just fine. Game of Thrones started this week. Did you watch it?
No, remember I gave up on Game of Thrones.
You gave up.
I was one of the people that actually gave up on Game of Thrones.
I liked it. One of my friends made a comment saying like you get now that they're straying away from the books, that you can tell the writing isn't really spoilers for Game of Thrones. I think we're going to be done.
We spoil everything on the show.
We're just going to talk about it and not even care. So Game of Thrones, something interesting that I was told. So,
before we get into Game of Thrones, who do you think Negan killed?
Oh, I think it's Daryl.
Okay. I want it on record.
You want it on record? I think it's I don't disagree with you at all about it. About it being Daryl, but. So there's a thing about the new Game of Thrones that was interesting. So it starts off with, obviously, Jon Snow gets stabbed to death and he's dead laying in the snow next to a sign that says traitor. Well, Davos, at the beginning of the show, did not know how to read. But he learned how to read throughout the show. That little girl taught him. I can't remember her name. She taught him how to read. But so he comes down, he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's the one to find Jon Snow, and if he didn't know how to read and didn't see that it said traitor, he wouldn't have known it was the Night's Watch that killed him. So he would have woke up the Night's Watch and they probably would have killed him. Like he would have been dead, him and his friends that were friends with Jon Snow. But because he could read traitor, they locked themselves in a room with the dire wolf and a few of the guys that trusted Jon Snow, and that's where they are right now, trying to get the help of the wildlings. But I thought it was pretty interesting that, like, wow, if he didn't know how to read, he would have been dead, and it would have changed the story completely. So that's pretty important. But we found out the fire priestess, or whatever you call her, the lady in red, she takes this charm off, and she's actually like hundreds of years old. So like they do the scene again where they show her like undressing, and you're like, oh yeah, she's real hot, and then she transforms into like this 100-year-old lady. So you're looking at like these 100-year-old boobs, and she's like all wrinkly and stuff. And I'm like, oh God, I'm like, no, stop. And then she goes and gets into bed, and that's how the episode ends. And you're kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that anymore. She was extremely good looking, and now that kind of ruined it for me. But yeah, it was a really good episode. I'm very simple when it comes to Game of Thrones. I don't care about like the politics or anything. I just, the fighting is awesome. They show occasional dragons, stuff like that. But I think that about kills it for shows. So when it comes to comics,
did you watch Silicon Valley?
No, I don't watch that show. Do you watch it?
Yeah, and I missed the premiere, so I'll talk about both episodes next week.
Okay, yeah, you can talk.
You really should watch that show.
I have so many shows. I'm watching Vikings right now. I'm on season 3. I got to finish that.
I've been proclaiming for years that Silicon Valley is better than Game of Thrones.
But they're not even remotely similar.
No, but it's still a better show.
Okay. Well, I think Ash vs. Evil Dead was the best show to ever come on television. But
I wish I had Showtime so I could watch that.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can buy, you can add on shows through Showtime. It's a new feature they have. It's pretty awesome.
Can you really?
Yeah. So I have Amazon Prime on my PS4, and what I do is like Ash vs. Evil Dead is on there, and you can add on subscriptions of like Showtime and stuff like that for I don't know how much extra a week, or a month. But I thought it was pretty cool.
Let's look into
that. Okay, so let's talk about the heart and soul of this podcast, comics. We used to do favorite comics of the week, but Chris and I, as much as we would like to read our books right when we get them, we're grown-ups with grown-up jobs, and life gets in the way. So we're going to give ourselves a week to read our books, which is good because
I take grown-up late afternoon naps.
Yeah, I take grown-up naps. But we're gonna talk about our books from last week, which is good because I think I just read mine Sunday night. My books this week I had were Huck by Mark Miller and Invincible. I had the new Dark Souls book, but that got shorted at our local comic store. I don't know. I think more people ordered it than we anticipated.
He told me because I was actually going to check that out.
Yeah,
he told me that they just didn't send them, so nobody got it,
which is weird. I was really excited for that book because I want to know how the narration is going to go in a Dark Souls comic book, because the Dark Souls is one of my favorite video games.
Yeah, I really wanted to check it out because I've always stated that I think Dark Souls has some of the best art in video games.
Yes, exactly.
But I just it's not the type of game I want to play.
A little side note, there's a Kickstarter going on that I'm going to do a free plug for because they're awesome. I forget the name of the company, but they're doing a Dark Souls board game. It's at over 3,000% funded. They needed
so the plug is useless then.
Yeah, the plug is useless. I just want to talk about it. They're at 3. So what I'm saying, whether I say this or not, they're virtually going to make way too much money for this. But they're at 3 million or $2,300,000, and I think they needed 50,000 or something ridiculous like that. I paid over $100 for this board game, but they're doing so many stretch goals. The stretch goal, if nobody knows what Kickstarter is where you keep donating money past 100%, and they're like, oh well, we got all this money now, we might as well add on more shit to the board game. So they just keep unlocking one a day almost. They keep unlocking more armor that you can use. And if you watch the playthrough, it looks like a lot of fun. You basically team up with co-op, or you can even play the board game by yourself, and you basically fight monsters and bosses from the Dark Souls universe, which is awesome. And it comes with these really neat 3D printed figurines of the bosses, some of the iconic bosses from the game. But yeah, check it out on Kickstarter.
So since you went there, because I was going to go there at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about a Kickstarter that needs your money.
All right. Well, yeah. So there's something Chris wants to talk about where they need you. This is the actual plug.
I introduced these guys to Mike to these guys at PAX, but we saw a board game called Super Hazard Quest at PAX East, and it's a 2D side-scrolling dungeon building card game.
Yep.
Looks like a lot of fun. A lot cheaper. You don't have to pay $100 for it. I'm just saying.
I think I actually funded this one too. I should plug this one. Yeah. It's very exciting.
I make fun of. I get that you're excited for that game, and I get why. But it's honestly like, what was it? I'm looking at the thing right now. The game itself, $25 gets you the game. That's not bad for a card game. Yeah. I went in for the $40 pledge, and it got me all the expansions they're putting out as well as the base game. And you can go even more extreme if you really want to. But good guys good people that are making it. Got to talk with them and discuss the project a little bit over the weekend. And
it's always nice to see passionate people. They're very passionate about what he's doing. He's a huge retro video game fan. So that's what you're getting. All the art is retro. They're all references to old video game characters. But it gets you excited about stuff too. So check it out.
So if you're on Kickstarter, check out Super Hazard Quest, spend your money, and then maybe go do that thing that Mike was talking about.
I think I'm gonna reach out. I think I'm gonna reach out to him actually, and maybe tell him, hey, if you want to share this podcast or something, hey, we talk about you. It'd be cool if we could even. Would it be cool if we got him on the show? Maybe we could. Yeah. We should. He actually. I think I can message him on Kickstarter. I'll think about doing that. See if he wants to. Anyways, okay, so we're back at comic books. My favorite comic book last week was Invincible, just because Invincible is my favorite comic book every month. For those of you who don't know, Invincible is an Image comic written by Robert Kirkman around the same time that Walking Dead started, but not nearly as popular. And they just got to a really good turning point in the book where Mark Grayson is he's been away from his family for 8 years. He missed his daughter growing up, but his brother is an agent for a villain named Thrag, which is just bad. He's a bad guy. So if you never read the book, check it out. I highly recommend it because Kirkman can write anything and I'll read it. So that's one of my favorite comics too. And recently it's been kind of on a downslope, I felt like. Yeah. But I never give up faith in Kirkman because he's a master. There's always a reason behind it.
And I've been sitting there going like, what the hell is going on? Why is this happening? And then that final page on this issue justified everything.
Exactly. And my only problem with this issue was Ryan Otley usually does the art, and Ryan Otley is taking a break to do. I'm okay with this because he's taking a break to do what is it, Grizzly Shark, which is a phenomenal book about a shark in the woods, and it's just ridiculous. But this someone else did the art. I wasn't really feeling the art for the way he drew Mark's face and stuff, but I mean, it's hard to determine from.
The art was a little off in this issue, I felt like.
I mean, if you're used to something for, hundreds of issues, it's kind of hard to get used to someone else changing. But I mean...
Yeah, but much like Walking Dead, like, it's been one artist for a majority of the book. So the few times when somebody else is on the book and it changes, it's kind of like, it's off.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with it because they've done such a great job.
Yeah. All right, so what was your book?
It would have been Invincible if you didn't pick it.
We could have the same book. Come on.
Oh, it's boring talking about the same book. So I'm gonna go with Saving Megapolis.
Oh man, you're gonna explain the plot to this. I have no idea what this is.
So Surviving Megapolis, the original book was a Kickstarter book, that Dark Horse ended up publishing, and it was a original graphic novel where basically all basically the Justice League, something happens and they become evil and they just destroy this town. It's their version of Megapolis. And in this one, the events of the first book have happened and the people you were following in that book escaped the town, and now the government has quarantined the area and kind of let them be, but they be in their own section.
Mm-hmm.
but now they want to figure out what's going on, so they send a team in there to figure out what the fuck's going on and to save. I forget who they're trying to save at this point, but they're trying to save somebody important. And of course, as happens, two people on the team are extreme fanatics and end up leaving the team to go, investigate this thing. And they're basically cultists that want to figure out what happened and gain the powers that the heroes did. And everyone else is still going about their business. It's Gail Simone.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you know Gail Simone very well.
Secret Six, the All New Adam, which I don't like to admit, the All New Adam, because anyways.
But she's a great writer. She knows what she's doing. And this book's been really, really good. It's very much a comic book in the sense that it's just like a soap opera of like back and forth, and this guy's bad. No, he's actually good, and like it keeps you enthralled the entire time, and the art's really great as well. And I'm bad with names, so forgive me, but there's one scene where the Superman of this universe was the only one to not be affected by this whole incident, and he stayed good. And the Wonder Woman of this universe has him chained up to the wall and hammered, kind of like Jesus. Up to the side of this bridge. There's a whole back and forth with them.
It's crazy.
The book's fantastic. If you can find the original novel, which I'm sure you can, I suggest picking it up. And then when this becomes it's collected, jump in.
Awesome. See, you always talk about more interesting. I'm just like, I read Image books and DC, and like I was like, there was this book this week that had Batman in it, so like, it was pretty cool. Like, you're like, this one has, an actual story by, and I'm just like, well, I don't know.
Don't worry, when Steve Rogers Captain America comes out, we'll be talking all about that.
Good, that's what I like to hear. So I got some stuff here I want to talk about. I think since we've had our last show.
Well, did you want to jump in and do what we're looking forward to next week?
Oh yeah. You go first.
I have a feeling I know what you're gonna.
Well, I guess it's this week. It's right.
Well, yeah. So the way we're formatting the show now is it's coming out on Wednesday. So we're gonna talk about our favorite books from last week, and then what we're looking forward to today when we go to the store. Yeah. Or whenever we can get there.
Or when it might come in the mail.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're going to pick Batman 51. Am I right?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay. So I'm going to pick Saga 36.
Yeah, I think it's a tie. Almost. I think. But why are you excited for Saga? Do I even need to ask?
Because it's Saga. I mean, the book's just so great. Everything about it is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're not reading it, just go read it. $10. Seriously, $10 to get the first trade, and there's no way you don't like it. The book's so good.
There's no way.
I've never met someone
unless you don't like things like cookies or like free stuff. If you don't like free stuff, then speaking of free stuff, free comic book.
If you hate babies, you will hate Saga.
Yeah, good point. I will say, speaking of Brian K. Vaughan is if you hate babies. They should write that. We should tell them, hey, that should be your tagline.
I'm just tired enough where like stupid shit's coming out of my mouth, and
it's pretty good. You should do this tired all the time.
Yeah, that's great.
Saga, it's like a review by IGN. If you hate babies, you will hate.
Can you put me in the front of the book, Brian K. Vaughan?
Brian K. Vaughan,
Fortress of Comic News says, if you hate babies, you will hate Saga.
He's not wrong. Did you read the Brian K. Vaughan one shot of The Walking Dead he did?
I haven't got around to it yet, no.
It was amazing. Go read it. When you read it, we'll talk about it, because I kind of want Brian K. Vaughan to continue that story that he wrote.
Yeah. I downloaded it right before we left for PAX, and then just never had time to read it.
Long story short, Knight Armor is all I'm going to say. So I want to talk about a book that came out. DC does this thing called Earth One. Some iconic writers do these, and I don't know if you've heard of this guy.
So is your book Batman?
no. This book's it's one.
No, your book for this week was.
Oh yeah, it was Batman. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need to explain it. It is Batman. It's the end of the series, really.
Yeah, it's the last Snyder Capullo issue.
Yeah, I saw a screenshot from it that I probably wish I didn't see, but it's like we've come full circle basically with this storyline. I might cry, so I don't want to talk too much about it. Wonder Woman Earth One is written by a guy. I don't know if you've heard about him. His name's Grant Morrison.
I heard he's a hack.
Yeah, he sucks right now. Grant Morrison is by far my favorite writer. And another interesting thing for the art on it is Yannick. I'm probably pronouncing this completely wrong. Yannick Paquette did the Swamp Thing run with Scott Snyder and did Batman issue 47 or 48, the one where he's resetting his mind.
That makes complete sense now because I was trying to figure out place the art in my head.
Mm-hmm. Oh
yeah, I knew I read it somewhere.
And fantastic art. That was perfect. That art was perfect for like resetting his mind and going through all those parallel universes of Batman.
I'm talking about the Swamp Thing issues. Like the way the layouts were put together and everything. Like it all makes sense now. Like it's the same style.
They don't like doing straight panels, which is awesome. But anyways, the book it set up a Wonder Woman universe that I love. There's hardly any fighting in it. It's more political than I thought it would be. Well, I mean, it's Grant Morrison, so there's a lot of dialogue, or not a lot of dialogue, but heavy dialogue, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And very philosophical, very existential, makes you think, which I might even read through it again, but it really set me up to where like I cannot wait for the next volume. You can tell shit's going to go down and there's going to be a lot of fighting, but for now there wasn't. So I recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, I remember listening to an interview with him and Kevin Smith like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Where he talked about the storyline, and it was I have the book. I still need to read it. Like not this, but there's a book about Wonder Woman and the character, a novel. And he was talking about that book, and he's talking about the origins of Wonder Woman and the whole how the original creators were really into like S&M and all this weird shit, and how if you look at those old comics, they're always trying to find a way to like put her in bondage of some sort. And the idea that her wrists have to touch for her powers to stop working, all this weird shit. And then you read this, and like the moment that really stuck with me was when she goes into the hotel room with Steve Trevor and she hands him the necklace.
The dog collar.
Yeah, it's a dog collar.
Yeah.
And it's straight out of like S&M culture.
Yeah.
That really stuck with me. And there was also the line of, I forget the exact line, but basically they're saying like a bunch of S&M lesbians on some random island.
Yeah. It's almost like she hands him that, but it's like natural for her. It's not like
it's not overdone. It's not like over sexualized or
it definitely is. It's more. It's very tastefully done, especially the art. The art is fantastic.
Yeah, it just feels like. Sorry, I was reading something. It feels like a natural part of her life.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
it fits. It fits the character perfectly and stays true to the origin of the character, which is awesome.
Book's really good.
Next books I want to talk about. I still read single issues, but I've been doing a thing now where I read a lot of trades because when I used to go to the comic shop every week, I'd read an issue and then I get to sit around and talk with people about it. I realized as I'm not doing that anymore, I forget things from issue to issue. I forget details that usually when you talk with people at the shop, it kind of reignites that thought process. So I started getting trades just because it's easier for me to read it all in one shot. Another one I picked up because I had the first issue, but I never got into it. It's called Rumble. The first 2 volumes of it are out right now.
I wanted to read that too.
It's very heavy in lore of this. It's hard to explain. Basically, there's this warrior from another dimension almost, where he loses his body and has to get it back, but he reincarnates in a scarecrow and has a giant sword. So and the art is fantastic. It's written by who was it written by?
You can tell I'm playing this show.
John Arcudi and James Herron and Dave Stewart. But it's awesome. I recommend it. It's I think it's one of the top rated Image books right now too. And for an Image book to go 2, 3, I think the 3rd volume comes out in like a month. It's a pretty good sign because there's a lot of Image books that don't make it. But
yeah,
that's a good thing about Image though. They try anything, you know. So there's one more book I want to talk about, and I'm super glad I picked it up. It was at PAX East. We met a awesome fellow by the name of Scott Kurtz. Scott Kurtz writes a webcomic, and he also does a trade called Table Titans that you can pick up on his website. PvP Online is the name of the comic that he does, but it's called Table Titans. It basically follows, if you're into D&D, it follows a group that plays once a week, and you get to see the interaction of the group, but then you get to see the interaction, like the next panel will be them playing in the game together and how they play their characters. And it's really funny to see the interaction of someone rolls a fumble in D&D where you roll 1 on a D20, and it completely, like, how the character behaves and the story setting is really funny. I think Scott Kurtz is a hilarious guy. We attended his panel at PAX East, and he just rambles on for an hour. He's a really funny guy. And Chris and I are very much into D&D and tabletopping, so I'm sure we're gonna record our next session for the Star Wars RPG and have a podcast out for that as well. But those are some things I thought I'd catch you up on that I was reading. It seems like, I don't know about you, but I read everything Mark Miller puts out, or Millar.
I only read it if it interests me.
He's been putting out a book like every week, which is very bizarre for him. Like, they're not the same book. Like, he does the Empress. He has
I did read Empress. Empress is good.
Empress was really good. Then he did Jupiter's Circle, but he's going back into Jupiter's Legacy with Frank Quitely, who is my favorite artist of all time. So I'm really excited about that.
I do read those books, and I really like those stories too. I'm excited for Jupiter's Legacy to come back.
Yeah. Jupiter's Circle Volume 2 just finished. And he's doing Huck, which actually Huck just finished last week. Is a really amazing book by him. Basically his story of Superman, kind of. And then...
Again?
Yeah. Yeah, again.
How many times have you done Superman?
Yeah, it's all like different iterations of Superman. But yeah, it's weird to see him putting books out consistently because he usually doesn't like to do that. So I don't know who got him to behave over at Image, but he's doing it. Rebirth is happening soon, so
it's weird too. Not to cut you off, but it's weird too because Empress is done through Marvel Icon.
Yeah, which is. That's when Marvel wants to say, we want to still own you, but we don't want to give up the rights, and we don't want to show blood and gore with the Marvel.
Well, no. Okay, let's pull your Marvel hate aside.
I'm just saying they did it with Kick-Ass.
He no longer has a contract with Marvel, so he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
He chose to go to Marvel Icon, that's what confuses me is, yes, Kick-Ass, he has a contract, he has to do it with Marvel. Because that was part of his whole deal when he was signed with Marvel. But this one he doesn't. I don't get why it's not an Image book. There's got to be something in the background that we don't know about.
I'm sure he had. It's going to be a movie.
Everything he does is going to be a movie.
I mean, it's just so perfectly laid out as a script that it's like I think it's more of like he's selling the script for the comics now, where he just has people bid on him. I think that's how.
Yeah. It came across as strange because there is no reason He has no obligation to Marvel to do it.
Yeah. Maybe he just misses the amount of money he was making with a big name.
He was making buttloads of money.
Um,
He's responsible for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
well, yeah. Rebirth. Rebirth is happening soon. What books are you getting? I just put my list together.
Shit. You didn't warn me about this.
I'm getting. I'll talk about my wife first. I'm getting Batman. I'm getting All Star Batman. Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka and Justice League. I'm always starting with 4 so far. I'm gonna try them out. The way I might do it, because they're twice a month, I might try the first couple of each and then just buy the trades of the ones I like. This might be the way I'll do it.
Which is probably smart for how you read.
Yeah.
1 second, I'm pulling out my email. There's a bunch of dead air.
Well, it's because I feel like within the next previews or so, they're going to be already showing the trades for them. Because twice a month, you get a trade every, almost 3 months.
Oh,
quick.
DC, I never trust DC with trades because Marvel and DC have opposite approaches where Marvel prints everything, even if it's garbage. And
Yeah.
DC is really selective and behind in their trades.
Yep.
So it's hard. I'm doing Superman, Action Comics, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman.
So no Batman.
I'm not thrilled with the Batman writer. I mean,
Jeff King.
I might pick up issue 1 and see, but I'm not committing to it. And then I was interested in Detective Comics, but it's Timmy in the Fourth or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
and
James
I've never really enjoyed anything he's done. So as much as I want to, part of me was like, I'm going to get that because Clayface is in it, and I get everything Clayface is in.
Yeah.
But if I'm at the point where like money is more important to me than it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So if I'm not going to enjoy it, I'm not going to buy it anymore.
That makes sense to me. But what about All-Star Batman with Scott Snyder?
That wasn't on this month's previews.
Oh, well, okay. I just threw it on. I threw it on my entire list of what I'm getting so far.
Oh, yeah. I will get way more than what I've said. That was just this month.
I think it might be smarter for me to wait for reviews and how people receive things and just buy it as a trade.
Because, yeah, like I said, for you, it makes more sense for how you read.
But I mean,
if you want to go into what I'm getting, yeah, I'll get All-Star Batman. I will probably get Teen Titans because I'm a huge Damian Wayne fan.
Yep.
I will probably get the Super Sons book because I'm a huge Damian Wayne fan.
The Trinity book looks awesome.
Trinity was one I really wanted. Justice League, I will 100% get. I'll at least try Justice League because without Jeff Johns, I feel like that book might fall off the wagon.
The thing I'm excited about for Justice League, I think Tony S. Daniel is drawing it.
Yeah, but I can't remember who's writing it. I just remember it didn't thrill me.
Yeah,
but it's not Jeff Johns, so it's not going to thrill me no matter who it is. There was others I was interested in. Oh, Batman Beyond. There's others.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a ton I'm forgetting. But I usually, in a quote-unquote reboot like this, I try a bunch of stuff, and then I whittle it down.
Yep.
So by month 2 or 3, I'll probably be down to almost half the books I named.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm trying to be conservative coming out of the gate and just doing the big players right now. I mean, like, there's no, I'm not like against reading Cyborg and stuff, but what I did with Cyborg is I bought that trade after it came out. I didn't buy the issues, but that's just how I am.
Yeah.
So I think that wraps up the first show of the Fortress of Comic News.
Yes.
We're going to be trying to do this every Wednesday, I guess.
Yes, and I'm going to get better at doing this end thing. So we have a whole bunch of ways to get a hold of us now.
Yes.
Fortress of Comic News at gmail.com. You can also go to our new fancy website that I'm still working on, fortressofcomicnews.com.
Fortressofcomicnews.com.
That was another reason to change the name, is I actually got that URL.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And then the show will be on Twitter at Fortress News Podcast.
Yes.
At Fortress News Pod. I'll have this down eventually. This is week 1.
We're gonna get it down pat.
At Fortress News Pod.
Ah, okay.
So follow me there, and then you can follow me personally if you want to hear about stuff that isn't comics and kind of political. At that Chris Runt.
If you want to hear him, I don't really talk about things. I just kind of read what Chris puts out there. So I'm a Chris fan. We're also going to be look out for some other podcasts. We're going to be recording our live D&D, but these are RPG Star Wars RPG sessions we're going to be putting out.
Yeah,
which is a lot of fun.
Thanks for reminding me to do
that. But that's it for this week.
We also are we still doing the Rick and Morty show?
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing a special where we do some commentary on Rick and Morty episodes, but we'll have more about that when we get closer to it. Yes. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome, and it might even be better if you're here for that for like a weekend or something, for both just watching it. And then
we can figure that out. We can pick a weekend, just bust out all the episodes.
But also at the Gmail account, send us some ideas, some stuff you like, some stuff you don't like. If you think we're assholes, be like, fuck you, like you guys suck. Like why does he like Batman? Why does he like Batman so much? Why is Chris half asleep? Like what the hell? Or even if I'm thinking we could even start getting people on the show that just want to talk about comics.
Yeah.
If you have any interest, you want to be on the show, let us know. We'll get you on here.
Oh, another thing I need to get better at.
Mm-hmm.
The other half of the rigmarole. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share.
Yes, please.
If you're on iTunes, rate, review, and also share, because sharing is caring.
Yeah, when you share, you start making friends, which is I don't have a lot of those, but that's why I'm doing a podcast.
I'll eventually have this whole rigmarole down.
Yeah, you're gonna have it. Just give it a few episodes. We're gonna start. It's gonna be like a quiz. But
because the old show, I'd forget it every week.
Yeah, this whole new rate, review, and retweet or like subscribe thing is new. Like as you're getting legit about this. We do have a website now, which is we're pretty much a big deal.
Oh, and for the two people that care.
Yeah.
My old show, Video Game Fever, is dead. It's done.
It's dead?
I had a falling out with the other guy.
Oh, man.
Multiple falling outs at this point, actually. It's done. I'm trying to jumpstart another video game podcast. I don't know if I'll be able to do it or not. But moral of the story is, don't talk politics with your friends.
Don't do that. And also, if you guys talk about Dark Souls, I'd like to be on that episode. I'd make a guest appearance just for you, just to bring in all the ratings.
I'll bring you in just to talk about Dark Souls, but you're not gonna get much out of me.
Yeah.
I tried. Okay. Fuck it. I don't care. We're going over.
Yeah.
Have you played Lords of Shadow?
Lords of Shadow. No, I have not played Lords of Shadow.
Lords of Shadow was, funny enough, it was done by Konami. Is that who did Dark Souls? Or no,
Dark Souls is
Bandai
from software.
Namco.
Bandai Namco, yeah.
Bandai Namco had another studio that made this game, and it's basically Dark Souls Light.
Oh, Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah, you said Lords of something, the Dark. I don't know.
No,
I know. I played the game. Yeah.
Okay.
I played it.
It was free on Xbox, so I was like, I'm going to try it because I really like the idea of Dark Souls. I just don't like Dark Souls.
I was going to tell you about it, but
and I started playing, and even that game's too fucking hard for me. I got so pissed at it.
That game was like a cakewalk compared to Dark Souls.
I know, but like just the it's, you know what it is, and I finally pinpointed it. It's the combat. It's too slow for me. I'm too twitchy.
Yeah. Makes sense. You're all high strung and shit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously after this episode, you can tell I have a ton of energy and I'm super hyperactive.
Most people watching this might think this is probably a podcast about zombies, but it's not.
Like, well, yeah, why is his eye half closed? I mean, what the fuck's wrong with him? He's obviously going to sleep. He's wearing a Flyers hat.
But yeah, if you start talking to Chris about video games, he won't ever stop. So
yeah, so we should probably stop.
Yeah, we're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut it early instead of talking about video games for another 5 hours. So for the Fortress of Comic News, I am your one and only Mike.
And I am your one of many, Chris.
I like that one. The one of many. We're gonna make different catchphrases each episode. Mine's gonna be better though. So see ya.